do you see? Lovely getting a big dog. Beautiful creature. But this is what's happened to the lawn during the winter. Yes, my popo. So this is her path, as you can see. And it's really taken a very hard beating. So spring is here and we need to treat this. Not only are we going to need to treat it, but we're also going to need to protect it, because that is her path, and come hell or high water, she is going to run this path. So we've got to change the behavior, let this be able to recover. And there it goes again. You see, it's like a racehorse. And once it's recovered, we can then open it up again. But guys, there are a couple of things, and whether you have been through a really tough winter and your lawn is looking very poor, follow this method that I'm using now, because this is the basic method of how to rejuvenate your lawn. So folks, the first task at hand is to get yourself your favorite garden fork. So what has happened here is everything has been compacted. Obviously this running up and down like racehorses has really compacted the soil, and we need to get in some air. Remember, air is such an important part of soil, and very often in heavily trodden areas, that's actually one of the most important ingredients. So all we're going to do is take the garden fork, get it in, wiggle, 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 and out. Please notice I'm not lifting it. I'm not actually lifting it. Please don't do this. Do you see what I'm doing here? I don't want you to do that. All I want you to do is in, wiggle, wiggle, and out. And all we're doing now is we're aerating. Now, you can, at various hiring places, actually get a spiking machine. So if you've got a really big lawn, I might recommend that. Right, folks, now we've really got to wake it up. And the best way to wake it up is to give it a good treating of some nutrition. What we're looking for is root growth. And you might say, this is like a never-ending story. You might say that, well, Tanya, don't we just want green? No, no, no. Remember, it all starts with the roots. If we get the roots right, then we are going to get the top right, which is why there are two options that you can go with here, guys. And please don't be tempted to go with something else. If this is your first treatment for spring, this is what I want you to use. You can use this, which is called Kano Garden. It's a 2-3-2. Now, we know with the fertilizers, you know those numbers, 2-3-2. The middle number, the 3, is the one that we are very, very interested in, because that number 3 is the phosphate, which is going to promote root growth. Likewise, this is an organic option, which is called bioorganic for lawns. I'm going with the 2-3-2. It stimulates good rooting, and then after that, and 4 to 6 weeks after, folks, after you've applied this or this, you're then going to go with something called turbo grass. Right, folks, because I'm doing a very small area here for this restoration, I'm simply going to apply it by hand. But what I am most impressed about this fertilizer is the cleanliness of it. And that means I'm getting pure nutrition. Now, if you've got a larger area, I would strongly recommend that you get one of these guys, which is a fertilizer distributor. And it can also get used as a seed distributor. So put the fertilizer in here, open the aperture, and just spreads out the fertilizer. So I'm going to be applying this by hand because it is a very small section. Whatever you do, follow the instructions. It's a small handful per square meter, sprinkle it on, and then we get to the next step. Right, folks, what I've got in here is a good quality lawn dressing. And all I'm simply going to be doing is, because it's actually the way they've pummeled this, it's actually dipped in a bit. And the only time you would use lawn dressing is for this specific reason. It's just to level it out. You don't ever put the layer too thick, please. It's a very thin layer. If you've got very big dongas and you've got to work up quite a height, then rather put a layer, wait for it to grow through, put the next layer, wait for it to grow through. Never ever cover the lawn completely where you see no blades, because then you will kill the grass. Now you're probably thinking, well, Tanya, you've done all this work, but they're still going to run up and down. And you're right. So that's where a bit of intervention is coming in. And instead of putting up a whole fence, all I've got to do is just simply change their angle. So I'm just going to take some of these little bamboo stakes that I've got and pop them in crisscross. And that's going to give this section of lawn some time to recover, which is just what it needs. Once we've done that, a good watering, and in a couple of weeks, this should be as good as new. And of course, lastly, a good watering, and our job is done. Has it worked? Yes. Did you see that? Up the stairs, quick left. So it's going to give this lawn a bit of time to recover while Thunderbolt, ex-racehorse here, carries on forging a new path. But because spring is here, the grass will be able to tolerate it. And because the weather is getting warmer, temperature rising, it'll all be okay. But that leads me to the next thing. Now that we've fixed our lawn, what are the options of lawn mowers? Do we have the right one? And are there some other nifty gizmos and gadgets out there that I could possibly use to make this garden task a whole lot easier? Come on, folks.